Texas Catholic officials are investigating claims of sexual abuse.
A trip to the space station is cut short, but the passengers make it home safely.
And an octopus is on a winning streak for the Mega Million Lottery. Could he have your number?
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Kennedy Huff.
And I'm Drake Lawson. The Catholic Church worldwide has been rocked by the allegations of sexual abuse by priests, and now the church here in Texas is getting involved. Local churches say they will publish a list of clergy that have been accused of abuse or harming children. Reporter Phil Pranz has more from Austin.
Our hope is also by doing so that we can move forward, especially by creating now more trust from the people, but also for healing for those who've been harmed by a cleric.
We spoke with Bishop Joe Vasquez from the Diocese of Austin early this afternoon. In the days ahead, they'll be hiring outside investigators. I asked him what the process will be to encourage victims to come forward.
It can be various ways. One way, of course, is just to go directly to the authorities. So they can go directly to the police, report that, and then the process begins. That's a criminal authorities process. But they can also come to the church, and they can also tell us, and then we will also start a process, working, of course, with the authorities as well.
A lot of people think that the church has been, co-conspirators, if you will, to keep some of these cases under wraps. Talk a little bit about what type of outside help will be helping.
Through our attorneys, we were able to say we need to do that. We need to have someone that's independent, that's not part of the church, that's looking at us from the outside. So we cannot be blamed or cannot be said, as you said, be part of this conspiracy or cover-up.
There are 15 Catholic dioceses in Texas, and the report is expected by the end of January.
And another issue that has a devastating impact on families is domestic violence.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Denton County Friends of the Family and the Greater Denton Arts Council have joined up for a special event tonight.
NTTV's Jade Jackson is live at the Patterson-Appleton Arts Center with more. Jade?
Thanks, Drake and Kennedy. People will be pouring in at 6:30 for this special event highlighting Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Through art, music, and performance, there's a lot of talent in the building in the night, as you can see, including a choir made up of domestic violence and sexual abuse survivors. I'm here with Denton County Friends of the Family, Cassandra Berry. So Cassandra, please tell us, why did you guys decide to bring awareness through the arts?
Well, it has been researched that healing through the arts is very effective. So it's been effective in my life as a person who has been through various forms of trauma. And so I go to music as an art form that brings forth the manifestation of my healing. And so when we looked at what would be an appropriate way and a lightning way to continue to bring awareness, and through the art of dance, poetic expressions, singing, writing, all of that contributes to one's healing and the process of feeling validated a lot of times in a traumatic situation. So one is something in this format to bring all the community together, and that there's something for everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Cassandra. As they said, it is tight spaces, so their doors are going to be opening at 7. First come, first serve, so thank you.
Thanks, Jade. Helping keep a community safe is a full-time job. And now, after 2 months of searching, the city of Denton has found their new police chief. NTTV's Nick Galaupius was at today's swearing-in ceremony and has the details.
So help me God. My sincere honor to give you that oath and welcome you to the city of Denton. Thank you.
And with this, the Denton Police Department welcomed their new chief, Frank Dixon. Dixon spent 23 years with the Austin Police Department. Working in a city like Austin, Dixon recognizes the importance of being accessible to the community.
To the community of Denton, we are truly your police department. And Shanika's going to kill me because she's my unofficial handler. My door is always open. I want to make sure the community has access to me, unfettered access. You guys come to your police department whenever you want. I will make time for you.
The new chief beat out over 100 applicants for this position. He Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo, who used to work with Dixon, was not surprised to see what Dixon has accomplished.
We're so proud of you.
Denton Police Chief Dixon says his goal is not only to focus on the community, but the department as a whole.
In our job, in our profession, we spend a lot of time talking about treating the community with respect, yet we disrespect one another internally. That's got to change.
For NTTV News, I'm Nick Laupius.
Chief Dixon's first day on the job will be Monday, October 15th.
And a different kind of security has a UNT professor front and center in the fight to protect online information. Professor Hassan Takabi says insider threats come from employees.
And insider threats usually are employees who are authorized within an organization for whatever job they have, but they try to gain access to information that they're not authorized for.
Takabi says social media plays a part in all of this, both as a positive and a negative.
Depends on how you look at it. You could talk about positive influences or negative influence of, in one aspect that it helped again to raise awareness, that now a lot more people are aware about attacks and they need to be careful. On the other hand, social media itself could be used as a tool to attack in a way that a lot of cybersecurity attacks are what we refer as start with what we refer as social engineering. So essentially, you could use social media to collect information that then later on would be used in the actual cyber attacks.
The grant for his research is over $1 million. Well, Kennedy, I know we were talking just last week about how it didn't feel like fall outside. It was really hot, but I have to say I think fall is finally here.
I agree. I'm ready to go ahead and grab my pumpkin spice latte. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Nick Laupius, to see if we can continue to have some of this cool weather.
Yeah, guys, finally starting to feel like fall as we look at the current conditions here in Denton. Currently 67 degrees, clear skies, really not a lot of clouds in the forecast. Feels a couple of degrees cooler. We do have about a 5 to 7 mile per hour wind gust right now. As we lock on into tonight, around the 11 o'clock hour tonight, we'll dip down 58 degrees. Again, feel a little bit cooler. 56 degrees, what it will feel like, and again, about 5 mile per hour winds. We see clouds starting to move in tomorrow night, and then tomorrow morning, around the 9 a.m. hour for your Friday, clouds are still there. 57 degrees, might feel 1 or 2 degrees cooler with the sun peeking through, about 5 mile per hour winds. But as you said, it's finally starting to feel like fall. The next 24 hours will definitely see that, but coming up later in the show, more chance for rain. I'll have that later in the 7-day forecast, but for now, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. And because of all the rain we have seen, a major Denton County road is expected to be closed for the remainder of the year.
NTTV's Dante Nunez is live with details on why Old Alton Road is closed. Dante?
That's right, Drake and Kennedy. A portion of Old Alton Road is expected to be closed for the remainder of the year. Behind me is a stretch of road that runs from Hilltop to Copper Canyon. Officials say the heavy rains in September flooded the road and left it swamped with debris. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineering and Kansas City Southern Railroad Company are teaming up with Denton to make repairs. These future repairs will prevent the road from suffering any more damage. That's all I have. Drake and Kennedy, back to you.
Thanks, Dante. Later, we have an update on Hurricane Michael.
And astronauts come home a little sooner than they expected. We have the details after the break.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
There was a scare earlier today when a Russian Soyuz rocket had to make an emergency landing following a malfunction with its propulsion system. Only minutes after the launch, they were forced down in Kazakhstan. After the landing, Russian search and rescue teams were able to recover both NASA astronaut Nick Haug and Russian cosmonaut Alexei Ovinshin. Shortly after, they were taken to Krasny Airport, where they were able to meet up with their families after a brief period of examination. The two were found to have survived the crash with no injuries. No official report has been given for the cause of the crash, and Russian officials are investigating the issue with help from NASA.
And it was one for the history books, a hurricane that broke records for destruction and fury. Hurricane Michael slammed into the panhandle of Florida with nearly Category 5 strength. Today, residents are beginning to look at what was left, but as Karen Kafa reports, Michael is not over just yet.
This hurricane was an absolute monster.
In the Florida Panhandle, sun after the storm and sorting through the aftermath of the strongest storm to hit the continental U.S. in more than 25 years.
Nothing. I never seen nothing like it.
Hurricane Michael slammed into Mexico Beach, Florida Wednesday afternoon with 155-mile-per-hour winds. This morning offered a first look at the storm's power and its destruction.
This was never in our imagination. This here, it was such a tremendous thing that I never imagined this was what was going to happen to our home here.
Along with Mexico Beach, Apalachicola also seeing some of the storm's worst. FEMA Administrator Brock Long said rescues are a priority today.
Right now, the focus is truly on life safety and making sure that we are helping people who may be trapped.
Hundreds of thousands of customers in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and North and South Carolina are without power. Michael moving through the Carolinas, bringing tropical storm force winds and heavy rain to some areas that took the brunt of Florence just weeks ago.
This storm will not go down without a fight. It is still a threat and should be taken seriously.
President Trump issued a disaster declaration for Florida, and the administration has pledged its support during the response and long recovery.
With you, we will continue to work with you until we rebuild and recover bigger and better than ever before.
I'm Karen Kafa reporting.
While our storms aren't as intense as Florida is getting right now, I hear we may have some rain coming later this week.
Yeah, I hear that too. Hopefully we can stay dry. We've had enough rain, I think, for this season. Let's go to Nick for a full look at the forecast. Nick.
Well, guys, not great news for the weekend, but now look at this, Apogee Tower Cam. It's been a picture-perfect day, as you see. Not a whole lot of clouds. It's been a very dry past couple of days, so we have gotten to kind of dry out a little bit, and it's really been, like I said, a great day as we look at the current conditions across North Texas. Pretty much very similar, mid to high 60s around Denton, 67. Fort Worth and Dallas both at 68, Paris at 65, and just to our north, Sherman and Gainesville at 64, and then off to the west, Graham at 65. As we look across the region and into the state of Oklahoma as well, we see the Oklahoma City's at 58, Amarillo already at 52. As we go all the way to El Paso, 78 degrees, Houston at 80, Austin at 75, Shreveport 70, and Abilene at 72. But like I said, not great news for the weekend as we look into the 7-day forecast. Friday is looking pretty good. We get up to 67 degrees with a low of 58, and the clouds start to move in, and that's where we see the rain. Saturday, 80% chance of rain, and it's going to be thunderstorms really across the whole area pretty much all day for a game day at Apogee. As we look on into Sunday, now the rain chances do go down to about 25%, but we'll have overcast skies, 67 the high. But look at the lows for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 44, 44, 43. It's starting to get a lot cooler, and like I said, starting off next week, we still have those rain
chances. Monday starting off the week, about an 80% chance of rain. Tuesday back down to 25. Wednesday we get up to 69 with a low of 48. Again, about a 40% chance of rain, and we finally start to see the clouds starting to go away. The sun's starting to peek through on Tuesday with a high of 67, and the rain chances going away. So really a pretty good chance again for some weekend storms, but it is starting to feel like fall, starting to cool down, and hopefully by midweek next week we'll start to dry out again. And that's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. While some areas of the country still feel like summer, the holiday shopping forecast seems to be right on schedule. CNN's Kim Hutcherson has more.
How much money do you plan to spend this gifting season? If it's more than last year, you're not alone. The National Retail Federation is projecting more jingle at cash registers this holiday season. According to the NRF, this November and December, holiday retail sales will increase between 4.3 to 4.8% over last year. That translates to as much as $721 billion more. The number excludes cars, gas, and restaurant sales. The NRF says its 2018 forecast is higher than the average annual increase of 3.9% over the past 5 years. Analysts say strong employment, higher wages, and an overall healthier economy are contributing to more spending. The NRF looks at consumer credit, disposable personal income, and previous monthly retail sales to gauge expectations. We're still in October, so now might be a good time to plan a budget for all those gifts. For Consumer Watch, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
The U.S. Postal Service is seeing a huge price jump on stamps for the first time ever in the mailing service's history. While facing pressures from the Trump administration to address the shortfall, the service's Board of Governors proposed raising the price of 1-ounce letters from 50 cents to 55 cents. This steep price increase comes at a time when the Postal Service's losses have been skyrocketing.
Up next, why some Americans want Columbus Day to be called Indigenous Peoples Day.
And later, we'll tell you what makes the Denton Farmers Market special.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly, and you can too. Share your heart, share your love. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
How's your hair? Is it pretty? Daddy. It's pretty. Maybe I'll say it. Maybe I'll say it.
Cities across the country are renaming Columbus Day Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's take a look at how one campus organization celebrated Monday.
UNT's Native American Student Association, or NASA, took the opportunity to celebrate Indigenous culture rather than celebrate Columbus on the holiday that's his namesake.
There's really not a reason to celebrate him. A lot of things that he did and that whole turn of Columbus and the things that he set a precedent for was disease, raping, a stealing of our women. He didn't leave a good legacy, really, and there's not a reason for us to celebrate that.
With UNT's Native population sitting at 0.3%, NASA member Briley Tewksbury thinks these conversations are important.
From what I've seen, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of Native American representation, and if anything, it's just underrepresented rather than misrepresented. But there definitely are a lot of people here with misconceptions about Native Americans. Just recently, someone referred to our event as just a bunch of people walking around in costume, which was not true. We were talking about our regalia at some point, but we talked about a lot of other Native American issues.
Tewksbury hopes celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day will remind others that Native Americans are still a part of this country.
Celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day in place of it really brings light to those people who are really just a minority group that's really been pushed to the side and isn't thought about. They're a second thought to this country a lot of times. And so making Indigenous Peoples Day is really a way to remember how those people have been just forgotten.
The city of Austin has been noted to have celebrated their first Indigenous Peoples Day this past Monday, and the hope is that other cities will follow suit.
Earlier today, President Trump met with rapper Kanye West to talk about several topics, including urban revitalization, African-American unemployment, and prison reform. During the meeting, West spent nearly 10 minutes talking about the reasons he supports President Trump.
It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And you made a Superman cape. For me, also as a guy that looks up to you, looks up to Ralph Lauren, looks up to American industry guys.
West recently showed his support for the president during a recent appearance on SNL. At the end of the show, West wore the signature Make America Great Again hat while giving a pro-Trump speech. With more in music, President Trump also signed the Music Modernization Act into law today. The ceremony was held at the White House with various celebrities in attendance, such as country singer John Rich and singer and songwriter Kid Rock.
This is a great start to protect songwriters, producers, engineers, the unsung heroes behind many of these songs that go out there. People like myself who are maybe more at the top of the food chain, it really doesn't affect as much. But I know many people it does affect, so this is going to help out in a big, big way.
The new act will focus on music licensing and royalty payments. It guarantees that songwriters and artists receive payments for pre-recordings as well as for work played on streaming services.
Well, if you like your food from farm to table, the Denton Community Market has that, plus more. NTTV's Daphne LaPlante is back with this week's Didn't You Know?
Thanks, Kennedy. Coming up this fall, the Denton Community Market has some great events planned for the rest of the season before they close for the winter. Denton Community Market is home to many exclusive items and treats that come directly from local producers. Featuring live music, food trucks, free kids activities, and more, the market is the weekend hotspot that you may have been missing out on.
The Denton Community Market is a local farmers and artisan market, and we have locally produced items sold directly from the producers themselves. So that makes it very unique. Everything is locally made within a 100-mile radius of Denton. Everything must be made, no resale of anything, no multi-level marketing companies, anything like that. Everything is made directly by the people who are selling the items.
Since its start in April of 2010, the market has proved its place as an essential aspect of the local Denton culture and lifestyle.
It's a very important gathering spot. People come from all walks of life. They come there to meet their friends. It's really an important hub for the community. We've been voted Best of Denton in the top 3 in the past 5 years. So we have been deemed important for the community.
This year, as we continue into the autumn season, the market is filling each weekend with fun fall festivities that you won't want to miss.
On the 13th, we have Harvest Day, which is an event we have every year to celebrate our farmers. Also, we're having a spooky market at the end of the month. That's where people can come and bring their pets. We have a pet costume contest, as well as trick-or-treating and scavenger hunt and so forth.
The market will remain open through November and will reopen in April of 2019. The market is open every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the downtown Denton area, so be sure to make a visit this month to see all of the amazing local products available. Canadian Drake, back to you.
Well, I will definitely have to check out the market. I'll finally have something to do on Saturdays.
Yeah, another great thing to do on Saturdays, head out to Apogee.
You could not be more right. Big football game coming up for the Mean Green football team, and one of our Olympic sports getting a little love from Conference USA. I'll have more after the break.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listened.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Mean Green Swim received some love from Conference USA this week as junior swimmer Jowitta Shine-Chevek was named the Conference USA Swimmer of the Week. After receiving the award, Jowitta said, "It's an honor to be selected and I'm looking forward to this season and all the challenges it offers." On Saturday, she helped the Mean Green into victories in the 400-yard medley relay and the 200-yard freestyle. Now the Mean Green Swim team will be back in action in a double dual meet against SMU in Houston on October 20th. And now with the first-year head coach Rodney DeLong at the reins for the Mean Green softball team this year, North Texas looks to keep their fall ball series on a hot streak as they are currently facing off against the Oklahoma Sooners at Lovelace Stadium. The game is in the second inning with the score 2-0 in favor of the Sooners. Now in their previous two fall ball matches, North Texas defeated Murray State 14-2 and then trumped North Central Texas College 16-7. Following tonight's game, they will then look to travel up to Oklahoma State to take on the Cowgirls October 17th at 6 p.m. And now moving on over into volleyball. Big games coming up for North Texas this weekend. Up first for the Mean Green on the upcoming conference slate is a home match on Friday night at 7 o'clock against Louisiana Tech. The game will be a chance for the Mean Green to grab their 5th straight sweep over La Tech after topping the Lady Texters in 5 sets earlier this season. And then following that matchup, the Mean Green will then hit the road and travel down to Houston to take on Conference USA's number 1 seeded Rice Owls. Now that game will be Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. But it's not only a big weekend for the volleyball team. Mean Green football is coming back to Apogee Stadium for a head-to-head conference matchup against the Eagles of Southern Mississippi. Now, after squeezing by with a 27-24 victory over UTEP this past Saturday, North Texas looks to come into this game as focused as ever, as head coach Seth Luttrell described it at the beginning of practice this past week. Now, Southern Miss is coming into Apogee rested up from their bye week, but the last time they were on the field in week 5, they were defeated by number 10 Auburn 24-13. So this game will be held at Apogee Stadium at 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can make sure to tune into Mean Green Game Day. Our pregame coverage will be going live at 11:30 Saturday morning. That's all I have for sports. Kennedy, back to you at the desk.
Wow, that is going to be an exciting game. Thanks, Ashley. Now, when it comes to picking out lottery numbers, some people use their birthday, wedding anniversary, or any number with significance. The Sea Life Aquarium in Orlando, Florida is switching up these norms, and it all starts with an octopus. The aquarium decided to let their 8-legged friend pick out the numbers this time. The octopus chose the numbers 18, 35, 36, 41, and 70. If those are winning numbers, the aquarium will win $548 million with a cash-out option of $309 million. This is the 3rd highest Mega Millions jackpot on record. The winning numbers will be drawn this Friday.
I'm sure there's some people in Orlando hoping that octopus is very lucky.
Well, lucky for them, they have about 8 chances.
That's very true. Thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again Monday night at 6 here on North Texas Television.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.